everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Psych Mom Show. Today we are going to talk about why your wife won't send you sexy pictures when this is just so, quote, easy and, quote, fast and, quote, fun for her, apparently, according to men. Why wouldn't she do it? Of course, some women do it, but then not relevant. So, if something doesn't apply to you, you cannot listen. You have my full permission to do that. Before, of course, we get into it, I must tell you to subscribe. I just recorded one. The previous one was about why and how bad it is when you can't admit that you're depressed. And this is a common issue that people think that everything just sucks or something. And in reality, they're walking around with untreated depression, making everybody around them miserable. So be sure to subscribe so you can get that and 75 other episodes, which are run the gamut, all about sex, relationships, parenting, and various psychological issues. All right, so as I talk about, many of my topics come from my Facebook group, so you should definitely join that secret Facebook group, only $4.99 a month. And that does not give you access to my podcast because that is separate. The podcasts come through Anchor, $5.99 a month. But the Facebook group, you get to interact with me a lot, and frequently I'll record live streams and stuff and podcasts based on the things that we talk about in those groups and based on requests from those people. So anyhow, a topic came up about sexy pictures and why some guys say, oh, for my birthday or something, why don't you send me a sexy picture, or just for no reason or whatever. And the woman is like, haha, and then she never does it. Or else she just doesn't even answer, or else she says she will and she never does. So first of all, you got to think about why you want the sexy pictures. I mean, we're in a very porn-based society, and people didn't used to think that women just did this at all. This was something that, a porn actress would do, or a pinup girl or something. It wasn't the usual thing for regular women. But of course, with the ubiquity of selfies and, smartphones and everything, every man thinks he could have his own personal porn star in his pocket. And that's just doesn't go along with how women are. There's the honeymoon stage where women feel really uninhibited. They feel good about themselves and their bodies because dopamine and adrenaline is pumping through their brains. And maybe then they'll send some sexy pictures. But after that, when that whole drunken new love thing recedes, women go back to being kind of shy in bed. I literally have a podcast called Why Women Are Shy, women are shy in bed and porn makes men think this isn't normal. It's normal. Most women are pretty inhibited in bed as a norm because women are not taught to be slutty. They're taught to be, quote, good girls. And even high libido women who have no philosophical problem with doing every single thing and, being super open-minded, even they, as I talk about repeatedly, have a libidinal decrease within monogamy. And this is just biology. This is just habituation to the same partner. When you don't have that much testosterone to start, the habituation makes you pretty different. To the point, not that you don't like sex anymore, but you just don't think about it during the day nearly at all within monogamy. And, and also, guys forget, women have super salient body image issues, and the average woman does not think that she looks hot enough to be in a picture. And when she could be feeling pretty good, and then if she takes off all her clothes and looks at herself in the mirror, she's not turned on like in the porno fantasy of your daydream. She's sad. She's I thought they would look better than that. For most women, going bathing suit shopping is a tremendous trauma. So the idea of taking off all her clothes and then you could be like, oh, well, I'd be fine with it down the shirt or up the skirt. Or first of all, I've said first of all a lot because there's just so much background that men don't understand how women think about this. She doesn't know what you want. Remember, she doesn't watch porn. She doesn't watch it, so she doesn't know. She doesn't know she could just take a picture of her boobs or something. And by the way, remember, I just said most women, after you breastfeed a couple babies, you're not that into your boobs after you gain 20 pounds, whatever the case may be. But anyway, they don't even know what kind of picture you want. They feel awkward about the whole thing. They feel sexy during the day approximately never, possibly when ovulating. Then one real surefire way to reduce their sex drive is to look at their damn naked body in the mirror in the light of day. It's just adding bad to worse. course. And if they used to do it at the beginning of a relationship, I certainly see why you wish that it would still happen. But frequently, the woman never did it. And remember the rates of anxiety among women? There are women that were in my group that were like, oh, but what about if like your phone gets stolen or hacked, or like anxiety in women is really high. And so of course, these are like the same things that are why like women think their kids are going to get kidnapped all the time, when like the rates of kidnapping are like beyond low. You know, read the book by Lenore Skenazy on free range parenting for the actual statistics. It's like your kid is likelier to get hit by lightning than to be kidnapped out of their front yard. But most parents think it would be the opposite, that like if they left their kid out in their front yard too long, kid would be kidnapped like within the hour, you know. But of course that's crazy, but that is anxiety for you. It's not rational. So they also think that their pictures that they send you are going to be found out, or that it would be terribly scarring for your child to see, a picture of like mommy's boobs in a bra. I mean, I don't make, the rules of anxiety. Like anxiety has its own rules. And it means that, bad, public, like this is going to be, publicized on a Times Square billboard. Everybody will laugh. Everybody will know that I have boobs, whatever. So if your wife already struggles with anxiety, this is frequently a non-starter. And if she is within monogamy, if she has a lower sex drive and she has any bodily inhibitions about how she looks, this is also going to be a non-starter. So what do you do? Well, in this case, like I'm always telling people, like, all right, the woman should get outside her comfort zone. This is no different. If you're a woman listening to this, send him a fucking picture. The only thing, like, if you don't like the rest of your body, turn half the lights off, put a nice bra and panties on, and he'll be very happy. But also, since I'm addressing the men primarily, I talk to the women all the time to get outside yourself, stop being selfish. I even have an article entitled, Are You Low Libido or Just Selfish? A quiz that I'm sure is super popular with the ladies. Just kidding. So yeah, I'm totally all about women getting outside their comfort zone, but this one is a little bit different because it feels kind of like insult to injury. I'm already telling the woman to work on the sex life. And so I'm telling her, get yourself in a position where you could experience responsive desire. You're not going to have spontaneous arousal anymore. You're like 40-something. You've been with the guy for 20 years. Is he, Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing? No. But like try. You love him. And that's not to mean that that a woman would not within monogamy get tired of Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing either, because she would. Because there's that saying, for every beautiful woman, there's a man tired of fucking her. Well, for every hot man, there's the same. But anyway, so sure, women should get themselves in a position where they can be aroused. However, taking a damn picture of your own body, unless you get off on doing that, is not arousing. This is not going to lead to any responsive desire. All it is kind of fake, and you're alone. Like I would so much rather a woman take her effort at getting herself into a position where she could then feel aroused and good physically. If she associates her husband with physical like positive things, like his touch makes me feel good, and then over time a sexual encounter leads always to something, or mostly always to a fulfilling bodily experience, to an orgasm, to whatever, okay, I could see this being self-perpetuating. The thing with the pictures is it just so fake. It's like, it feels, and I think I said this on a video when I did a video about this, which I do sometimes if I get a good topic going in the group. But I think I said it's like if a woman said, you're not romantic enough, I want you to cry at how much you love me. Cry right now. Cry about it. Cry about it and take a video of you crying about how much you love me, blubbering about it, and send that to me because that's what I get off on. You'd be like, that's some fake bullshit. Who do you even want? Do you even want me, or do you want some bullshit that you made up in your head from romance? And that is to women what it sounds like to take a sexy picture and to act like aroused or like mischievous or like whatever the hell kind of face she thinks that you want when she is not feeling it at all. And in fact, she's feeling like, if I have to go another couple of decades trying to be something that I'm not in the absence of any feeling of physical arousal at all, I think I would just rather leave. And that's what the average woman would think about this, especially the average low libido woman who never did this before, because when you met her, your porn habit, and I'm talking to you, whoever this resonates with, your porn habit was not at the level of, expert ninja that it is now. Because when you knew her 15, 20 years ago, you weren't jerking off all the time. And you're like, yeah, because she was fucking me more. Yeah, but probably not super much more. It was just that porn was not so available as it was. And so therefore you didn't think in terms of montages, and you didn't think, man, it would be great to have my favorite little porn actress, my wife, do these things for me. So, sure, sexy pictures are fun, and it sounds fun when you're a guy. And it sounds fun when you're a single woman and a woman in the early stages of courtship sometimes. If you're not a very sexual person then, it doesn't even sound fun then. Or if you're an anxious person that thinks your shit's going to be all over the internet, like anybody cares about the average 40-year-old wife and mother, they don't, But, although I did see a TikTok where a 45-year-old woman was bragging about paying off an $84,000 debt, taking pictures of her vagina, which is admirable. So people can certainly make money however they would like. It is a free market economy. But the point is, that is actually extremely anxious. So if that's your reason, then, that's no one's looking at your husband's phone about his pictures, and he could password protect it or whatever. Half y'all are married to guys in IT. If they can't figure that one out, I don't know how they're bringing home a salary. But anyway, the point is, try to have a little compassion. This is not fun or exciting to your wife. Now, let me tell you something. If you work on getting outside of your comfort zone, as I talk about all the time, if you're more open-minded outside the bedroom, she may grow more open-minded in the bedroom. So are there things that your wife wishes that you would really change and grow and be open-minded about? Perhaps my home renovation podcast could be relevant here. Perhaps she wants you to, be interested in, I don't know, any fucking thing, her hobby, what movie she wants to watch, talking about her friends from work, traveling to different destinations, whatever. If you have any bottlenecks in terms of being closed-minded, you got zero leg to stand on in terms of asking her to be your special erotic model. If you are completely open-minded in every way, she's going to grow closer to you in the bedroom, and that may or may not include pictures, but I'll tell you, if you were having an awesome sex life, you wouldn't give two shits about the pictures unless your porn habit is more on the edge of addiction than you are telling me right now, or telling yourself, since we're not actually in a session. But so those are the only guys, by the way, that perseverate on the idea of specific erotic fetishes when they're having an otherwise happy sex life, are the guys that are usually down the rabbit hole of porn that is directed specifically to a certain kink or fantasy, and or men who always had a specific kink or fantasy but never told the wife. So then I've seen this too. So then after 15, 20 years of marriage, they're like, I think now would be a good time to bring up BDSM. Well, shit, how you think that's going to go? She thinks, she doesn't even know you that. You say that you want to do BDSM, she's going to be like, oh my God, this is something you always wanted and you never told me. And you know what? That is incredibly destabilizing. If you walked in and you saw her watching porn on BBC, you would be like, what the fuck? You really would. You would be like, wait, hold on, what's this, size queen? Or I can make up all sorts of funny examples. But with the little exception of that most men would be happy to know that their wife had some sort of an interest in FFM threesomes, that everything else might be a little bit wait, what? And that is how she feels if you bring out your kink later in the marriage. If you do want to do this, it's not like you can, but you would have to be like, I am really sorry that I never had the courage to tell you that I've been into X. You can't just try to start bringing handcuffs and stuff into the bedroom and think she's not going to pick up on something is weird. So if you do have if you are the guy who is way more into porn than you're admitting, then that is probably has more of a contribution than you think to why you want the photos and the videos and whatever. Otherwise, you may be just trying but that's more of you. Let me just say that's more of you than right now or raising your hand to say that's me. It's still more. So more should be raising their hand. Otherwise, it's a lot of guys who are like, I've tried other ways to spice up my sex life. Those didn't work. So what about this one? If the other ones didn't work, this is the last one that's going to work. This is the most uninhibited women that do this. This is not the average woman. And social media and even like TikTok and stuff like that makes you think, because these are the women. Think about it. If a woman is on TikTok making cute little things about her and her husband, and she says stuff, because I see these, where it's like, sending him flirty messages all day at work, haha. Think about the personality of a woman who is a TikTok star to the point where she's getting millions of views and that she comes up in your feed, right? Or YouTube or whatever you're looking at online. This is somebody who is trying to put on a performance. It's not very dissimilar from somebody who is a porn actress. It's somebody who's very attention seeking. That's not your wife, right? Right? I mean, she can't just decide to be a different personality and, just for the fuck of it. Neither can you, much to her chagrin and much to your chagrin. So as is always, acceptance and smaller steps and empathy are key to transforming your sex life. That many men do not realize what a big ask this one is. If somebody asked them for a picture of their dick, they would be over the moon. So it's not the same. It's just like legit, like there is no overlap between how you would feel if a woman asked to see a picture of your penis and how a woman feels when her husband asks to see a picture of her vagina. And she's out of the honeymoon stage and she's had kids and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this one is a different kind of ask than most men realize. So that's why I thought that it would be interesting to do it. And also, if you're a woman and you hear this, you're like, oh my God, it's a bigger ask. Well, wow, I'm going to go be super wife. Awesome. Go be super wife. I already told you nobody's going to find your damn picture. 100% be super wife. That's great. But also, remember back to my podcast about getting laid once more per week isn't going to make your life awesome, because that's not what you really want. Same thing with this or with any other specific preference. That thing is not going to be the thing that makes you happy. The thing that you really want, the thing that guys want when they're talking about wanting the picture, is a more open-minded, playful tone and environment in their home around sex. That is what they want. And so if you're aware then by me telling you that is what you want and you recognize that as true, then you can say, oh, I guess there's more than one way to skin a cat. And there is probably a million other things, starting with getting better at sex, getting better at making her feel comfortable and physically good. Refer back to podcast numero uno on ways to make your highly sensitive wife like sex a lot more. There are ways to work on that can increase her positive attitude towards sex. And of course, what do I always tell you? Couples counseling can really address, like, let's say, and this is pretty common, she has a lot of empathic ruptures towards you, and you're asking her for sexy pictures, but she's back remembering about, the time where you didn't come home, after a work trip on the day that you said that you would, and she was home with 2 babies, or whatever the case may be. So couples counseling can get at the root of other kind of bottlenecks around intimacy, which can stop even very high libido women from wanting to give their husband the time of day in bed if those are not worked on. So what you're hoping, and also I must say, because I'm not a bullshit artist, there are some women who will never have an open and playful attitude about sex. They may have a history of sexual trauma. They may just be very low libido people that were trained to have a negative view of sex in the home. They may be postmenopausal. They may have depression, anxiety, a lot of chronic pain. They may never have a positive and playful and fun, open attitude about sex. And if you keep pushing on it, all you're going to do is destroy the friendship that you have. And then if you get divorced, you're going to fucking hate each other. So if you're in a situation where you're getting about jack shit in bed, there's no openness and playfulness, there's nothing sweet, there's no tenderness, there's no physical affection, there's no understanding of what physical affection even looks like, that's when you got to talk to a therapist. You got to think about what are the benefits of staying in this relationship. And at that point, if this person really does not have a sexual bone in their body, you have to decide, is this something, is it worth staying with this person? And in my mind, it's only worth staying with them. You can decide, like people could say, I want to stay for my kids, whatever. But then you can't keep pushing them in this way. It's unkind. If you know in your heart from everything that I'm saying that your wife is just not a sexual person and this sort of thing, every time you bring something up, she takes it like an attack. She's like confused. She's like fearful. She just like wants to be left alone. She doesn't even, she would be happier if she had no vagina. Then why do you keep torturing her? If you want to make the decision to stay with her, don't punish her for that decision that you're making. You can make a different decision to be with somebody who is more sexually open and more open around affection and intimacy, because it's never about sex. It's always about intimacy. Always about intimacy, never about sex. I want y'all to write that on your hands. You remember, the people who want these pictures, unless again it's the porn kink kind of thing, they usually just want that intimate, playful, back and forth reciprocality, mutuality of affection and giving and receiving, and we're close and we have a fun connection and that whole kind of thing. If you want that and you're getting it in other ways, then be happy and maybe just be, accepting that you can't have every single thing in the world that you want. If you're getting that in no ways, photos aren't going to do it, and you got probably better, you have to use your time more wisely and think deeply about whether you want to remain in the relationship. That would be my advice there. And for some people, who are listening that are women, this is a very nice gift to give to your husband, is the naked picture. If you'd like to do that, I'm sure he would appreciate it. All right, I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great day.